This is my 99 R6, which hasn't always looked this bad. I also have this R6, which after I bought it, freed up the old one so my brother could use it to enjoy some happy miles, as well as being my riding buddy. And in 2014, when I bought a Panigale, my brother started using the 09 R6, and we took the old R6 off the road for a bit of a refurb. But after being abandoned for 10 years, I'm going to try and get this bike started. Now after 10 years of not using the bike, the worry is where's the key? And I've got the spare, but I haven't got the main key, so I don't know why that is. But the spare is all I need really. And then obviously, for the key to work, I need a battery and I need fuel. And both of them have been in the bike since I left it last, 2014, 10 years. That's a 10-year battery that's been disconnected from what I remember. And that's 10-year-old fuel in there. That's if there's still fuel in there. But again, there's two things I want to check. Now, as I've already alluded to, this was a project that we did start. There are some nice already little shiny bits on this bike, but some of the things we've left behind aren't so shiny. The first thing to do obviously was check the power before moving on to anything else. Keys going in. That's a no then. Let's try and get some power onto the battery with my little Stanley booster pack. And this is it, my nice new booster pack that I wouldn't normally show to everybody, but this thing only cost me £40 off Amazon, and it's a great bit of kit. The crocodile clips are plenty big enough to connect easily to the terminals on the battery, and have a big green light to show you when everything's connected correctly and turns red when it's not. There's also this digital display to let you know how much battery life is in the pack. Yes, we've got power. So fueling is a big thing on these bikes. Obviously, if you leave a bike in a garage for however long a time, you're either supposed to fill them up to the brim to stop the internals from rusting, or you can purge, vent, seal and store in a box out of the way in a safe place, which is something I wish I did. Oh my god, that is stiff. Right, not as bad as I thought. There is remnants of rust. Oh my god. That's a pretty rusty fuel tank. Which means the fuel tank has got to be cleaned out and treated as well. And that's a bit of a pain of a job. It was something I didn't want to do on the BMW, but to be fair, the BMW was in pretty good condition. Like, other than the top of it. It had a bit of a liner in it and it looked okay. This has got lots of rust in it. That's like full few days job in warmer weather kind of thing. And to hide the tears, I lifted the tank up to look underneath to see if everything was connected, because the next thing to do was add fuel into that tank, which isn't ideal, and I know a lot of people wouldn't do it at this point, but I decided to go against that anyway. I need to get fuel in here to see if the bike will pull it through and start. Now I know a lot of you probably wouldn't be happy with this, but I don't care. I need to get the bike started. It's now got fuel in it, the battery's connected. Should hear the fuel pump prime. Now this is the moment I've been waiting for, and it's quite funny to watch it back because I'm quite tense while doing this. So I turn the key on to get the fuel pump to prime, then I turn it off, then back on to prime again before trying the start up. It wants to go. Pretty short maybe? Unfortunately for me, they were the last signs of life, and even though I knew the bike had done enough to pull through enough fuel to start up, I still tried a couple more times while I thought about what I wanted to do next. Yeah, it's going, but there's just no fuel coming through that. So, I'm not shocked. But I was about to be shocked because there was something all over the floor that I had not noticed yet. Let's try that fuel tank. Uh-oh. We got a fuel leak. So it was time to disconnect the charger from the battery, get the garage door open for some ventilation, as that was the end of the fun for now. And you can see that there's a lot of fuel all over the floor, which obviously means a lot of fumes. But at this point, I still don't know where the leak is coming from. So I lifted up the tank to find out what was going on. And right about there is where the fuel line snapped, and that's the fuel line that is going from the fuel filter to the fuel pump. There it is, the broken line, and from what I can see there's no obvious leak, so I've gone out and bought an external tank, and that should arrive right about now. Here we go, we got the external fuel tank. I just need to connect this to the lines, get some power to the battery, and hopefully everything will fire up that bike will sing a nice little note out of the exhaust that's fitted, and we will finish the video on a high, because this is actually a few days later. Christmas has come and gone, and I had to wait for this to be delivered. So let's go. We got fuel on, we got battery on, chokes on. So day 2 was not a success. I had fuel all over the floor again, fuel everywhere. So that's 2 sessions in a row now, and this time I could smell smoke. We've got smoke, so I disconnected the booster pack, let everything evaporate and clear out. Then I connected the booster pack again to see if I could fix anything without fuel being all over the bike or connected. This time it gave me a constant red light and started beeping at me. So I figured, I'm not on fire, I'm going to go home. So that brings us to today, which is day 3. Wish me luck. I'm going to talk you through everything as I'm doing it. This has now become a well-rehearsed game. I place the brush against the bike to hang the fuel tank off, and then I connect the fuel line to the fuel pump hose. I'll be using the valve to try and control the amount of fuel that ends up on the floor via the carb, as they have an issue and are letting too much fuel flow through to the overflow. An issue that will obviously be solved when the carbs are cleaned. Now with the fuel tank filled up, with fuel siphoned from my GS, it's time to get the clips on the battery terminals, connect the booster pack up and check for the green light. Then garage door open, and let's see how it goes. So at this point everything is green on there, thankfully. Doors open, which I think is just probably the best measure at this point. Let's turn this on. Got a bit of life. Here we go. Bit of fuel maybe. Yes! Yes! A little bit of choke. Nope. There's fuel everywhere again. Yeah, baby! Now obviously the bike is sounding a bit rough, like it's running on 3, but a start is a start, and it's one thing off the list. I will take that as a bit of a win. So that was it, and that is the first start of my bike in 10 years, which is pretty awesome, but really sad when you think that I bought this bike in 2008 as my first ever bike, and I've pretty much just cast it aside. So I'm not too proud of myself, but I'm going to give this bike the attention and the time that it deserves to bring it back to former glory. So if you've enjoyed this video, please press the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing if you're new here, and I'll bring you another video soon.